Another later pattern I'll show you here, and this is the early 1900s, and this is something to look for when you're looking at flow blue, because it tells you it's made in England. And there was a U.S. tax law that was passed in the 1890s that said that any import from England had to be stamped either in England, made in England, or England. So you're going to see, when you look at this and you see England, you know that this pattern is after 1890. So that's a big help when you're looking at these flow blues, because this does have a dark flow in it. A dark flow, but it's a later pattern. And the other thing to really remember is this gilding will tip you off that it's not as early as some of these other patterns. So when you're looking at the form on the back, remember to look for either made in whatever country it is or just the country name, and you know that that's the late 1880s up through the 1900s, whereas the other patterns that we showed you here, the Formosa pattern, if you look at it, it just states that it's Formosa. It doesn't mention England here at all. So you know by looking at this and the fact that it's a heavier pattern that this is the early 1800s. So those are some ways to distinguish between your patterns. And here are some other the different patterns that you can see here. This was the Oregon pattern, very distinct but Oriental design too. Still the early 1820s, 1830s pattern. Very heavy on the blue, but very Oriental. So that too, you can look again here, and you only see Oregon. You don't see a country of origin on this. So that's a tip-off of age too. So those are some, and one more example we have here, which is heavy flow blue, but it also says England on it. So we know that this is a later pattern made in the late 1800s, all the way up into the 1900s. This is a later pattern. So that's a good way to distinguish between earlier 1800s and later 1800s into the 1900s.